I had both that.
Early. No, I was going to mention that.
Back on how
Are you mentioning that?
we didn't do that.
I am.
Yeah, that would be nice, unless
Right out of there, lost half my day.
Look at this.
we're very optimistic.
Mary here.
10 seconds, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
When I'm about to fall asleep, I pop out of bed.
Liability
My doors
insurance.
and it just like,
What in the heck?
stress it. Did I?
You know,
Did I?
see it coming.
It's exactly 6:30. We'll stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
a few announcements here tonight. First of all, I'd like to wish the members of the council a happy new year and prosperous new year to everybody. And I think lots of good things going on in 2018. Look forward to the year. Good news, the city of Winona was awarded a $2.8 million MnDOT Highway Freight Program grant for improvements to Riverview Drive. And if anybody's ridden out there, especially on a bus, you'll know it greatly needs upgrading. The city of Winona is pleased to announce that it's been awarded a $2.8 million grant for the fiscal year 2019. The grant will be provided by the state of Minnesota's Department of Transportation Highway Freight Program and is used for the resurfacing of Riverview Drive from 2nd Street to Pelzer Avenue. The state grant will pay for 80% of the project, with the city of Winona funding the remaining 20% of the project costs. And this will, again, will all be in 2019. Also, I just want a big thank you and really congratulations to the fire department and the police department, the street department, everybody involved in the fire that took place a couple days ago over on Mankato Avenue in some really bad conditions, and they did a great job in saving the surrounding houses, and you know, this is why we say we have such a great fire department, and good job everybody. It's the Red Cross, anybody else that might be forgetting that was involved in that. I also had a call today from a neighbor with one of the water mains broke over on Sioux and Lake Boulevard, and or Lake Boulevard, I guess. And just said what a good job the water department and street department did over there, and how quickly they got it repaired, and how polite they were, and how well they communicated with everybody, and just said wanted me to make sure that I said good job to everybody. And that's really all I had. So I'll ask the city manager if he has anything.
A few things, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have had several water main breaks, and so maybe the crew's getting a little more efficient at it. We haven't had many for years, but because of this extreme cold without the frost getting in the ground, it's stressing the system pretty hard. I also want to pass on my thanks to the fire department. I went down there when the fire was pretty much contained, and the street crew was down there working on the ice. And I sent along thanks to the school district for opening WK to allow the firefighters and other folks to have a place to go warm up during the incident. I also want to remind the community and the council that we're having a meeting with our parking advisors, Walker, on the 29th. So keep an eye out for the hearing times, but that'll be the 29th. Planning to have at least one during the day and then one probably around 5:30 as they present their findings from their parking study to the community. And then finally, just a reminder that on January 8th at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers, the Park and Recreation will hold a public input session to discuss operations and amenities of the Prairie Island Campground. If anybody has any other questions, they can contact Russ down at the Park and Rec. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig. Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Scholmeyer.
Here.
And under the required public hearings, Item 2.1 is the rezoning request for 1150 Gilmore Avenue from R3 to B1. This is a public hearing.
Declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anybody here that wishes to speak.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I do have a brief presentation on this agenda item here. For the rezoning of 1150 Gilmore, R3 high density residential to B1 neighborhood commercial. The subject property is at the corner of Vila and Gilmore, the northwest corner. The property is approximately 5,000 square feet in area. Here's a shot from Google that shows the property, the existing commercial building, and then the paved surface in front of the building used for parking in the past. The property itself in 1959, 1960, the zoning ordinance at that time originally designated the property as R1. That's the yellow surrounding the subject property. The reason it was designated R1 at that time is because the parcel was being used for a gas station, and the intent of that zoning was to eventually phase out that gas station, which was incompatible with the surrounding residential properties. By 1976, that happened, and the subject property was rezoned to R3, its current designation, the brown color on the screen there. In 1976, that rezoning was for a real estate office, and since that time, it's also been used for an insurance office, copier sales and repair, home medical supply sales, and a pain management clinic. Given this R3 zoning, the office uses were subject to a conditional use permit, and the retail uses that the property was used for technically weren't permitted. However, all of these uses would have been permitted in the requested B1 zoning that you're reviewing tonight. So the requested B1 zoning is simply being requested to reflect the historic small-scale commercial use on the property. On December 11th, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval with the following findings. First, no error or oversight was made in the 1959-60 zoning of the site. Second, there have been changes in neighborhood development patterns since 1960, namely the introduction of commercial uses to the south and southwest and the connection of Vila Street to Highway 61 in 1992. 3, potential uses of the requested B1 zoning would not impose undue hardship on neighboring properties, and that's primarily due to the small size of the site. 4, the request aligns with the historic small-scale commercial and retail use of the property and also aligns with the comprehensive plan's future land use designation for the subject property. And finally, spot zoning is not evident. Consideration of the request tonight. Council has the following options. First, to approve the B1 rezoning as recommended by the Planning Commission. Second, deny, or 3, table the item. Thank you.
Is there anybody here that wishes to speak? State your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Scott Messenger. I reside at 519 East Bellevue here in Winona, and I own the property at 1150 Gilmore Avenue. I bought that many years ago from D. DeLaury when he had his real estate office there, and for 38 years I had my insurance office in there and also rented part of it out to copier sales and at-home medical supply store and so forth. I have since retired and have put the building up for sale, and in working with the real estate agent, I always thought it was already zoned commercial because every year when I got my tax statement, it said commercial on it, and was somewhat surprised to find out through the planning department that it was R3, multifamily residential. And upon the suggestion of working with city council, or the city planning department and with the real estate, I'm just requesting it to be changed to a B1 to reflect its past usage and allow it to continue on for the small business usage that any potential buyer would have for the future. I'm not looking to expand the building or anything like that. Just it's up for sale, and the real estate agents thought it would be more saleable by going to a B1 commercial zoning. Are there any questions?
I guess not. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else here wish to speak to this subject? Last chance, anybody else wish to speak? Hearing none, declare the public hearing closed and ask if there's a motion from council.
I make a motion to approve the request as submitted.
I'll second it.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Al. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is an appointment to the Port Authority of Ernie Gorman.
Make a motion to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? George?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I'd like to thank Mary Glupka for the time that she served on the Port Authority. I had the chance, along with Al, to serve with her, and she certainly did a very, very good job. She kept looking at all the numbers all the time, and I'm sure Ernie's going to do the same thing, so.
Do we know how many years Mary was on the Port Authority?
Boy,
No?
a long time,
Long time.
but always good service and appreciated.
Paul?
Yeah, so I noticed this is just until March. Will there be a reappointment in
hope
March?
so.
Okay.
Mayor and council, Mary Kay resigned in the middle of her term. All those terms go until March 18th for the Port Authority.
Her term, if she resigned in December. Anything else? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.2 is a request by Women in Business to hold a 5K on February 10th.
To approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 are sign and banner requests for the Winter Carnival, the Frozen River Film Fest, and the DAC auction and casino night.
Make a motion to approve the sign and banner request.
Second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the renewal of property and liability insurance for 2018, excluding the workers' comp.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Al?
Well, just noting that our total for this is down from last year, although some categories have gone up and big ones have gone down.
Mayor and council, and Mr. Thurley is correct that in total we're down about 4% for the cost from 2017 to 2018, so that's good news. As you see, the municipal liability is down the most percent, and according to our agent, that's because of our city experience. We've had better experience than was expected or than we had the year before, and so that's reflected in having that be a lower premium. One of the categories is up quite a percent, not too much in total dollars, but that's the auto physical damage. And that's because, in general, I guess carriers are increasing that insurance coverage because if you have an accident and say, for instance, the auto was damaged by, like, say, $1,500, by the time they take it in and have everything fixed, all the safety equipment, it probably will cost something like $7,000. So they're adjusting, they're charging more for the premium now mainly because of that safety equipment is costing a lot more to repair than it used to. So, but still, in total, we're down about 4% for the total dollars. And the property insurance is up, and that's all because of the valuation change of 3% from the 2017 to 2018 that the insurance agent, that the LMCIT automatically takes into account.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.2 is the Ice Park Guided Climbing Agreement.
Make a motion to authorize the administration to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Ross, did you want to say something?
Sure, Mayor and Council, staff recommends the approval of the agreement with Big River Climbing Guides for guided climbing at the ice park. Essentially, regulation of guided climbing is a standard practice within climbing areas, and it helps to mitigate issues or oversight of things like proper insurance, certifications and trainings, and then helps limit group sizes as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle, Pam?
Yes, I was, my question is only guided climbing available at the ice park? Or can people who know the ropes, so to speak, go out and do it themselves?
Absolutely. So open climbing, or climbing is open to anyone that has the equipment and skill and wants to go there. This would just be for the oversight of guided climbing, when people are hiring someone with experience to take them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Paul?
Did we go through this last year with the,
I don't think so.
This is a new.
Other questions, Al?
I've got a couple of questions on the agreement, item 2 on the license fee. It has an initial fee of $42, and then thereafter the license shall be $504. What's the rationale behind this? Is this because of the new season or shortened season, or what is the rationale?
Yeah, so this is due to kind of a proof and concept opportunity and the shortened season and timeline for the kind of the completion of an agreement. Knowing that moving forward, it would be for the full term amount of the 500.
I told him I wasn't going to cough on it, but I turned and
You had to choose which one to cough on, I get it.
Anyway, now, in the agreement, the parking area is Lake Boulevard area. Now, is this agreement then giving them a license to reserve spots for that, or would it be first come, first serve? If anybody was using that park for any other use other than ice climbing, they would just have to take their turn, and if there's a parking spot available, then they'd have it.
Yep, absolutely, and we look to have overflow parking identified as well closer to Holzinger Lodge.
Okay.
To help mitigate that.
Well, let's hope maybe you'll need that then. Thank you.
Anything else? None, I guess we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
And item 5.3 is a grant application for Transportation Alternatives Program, and there are 2 resolutions.
I make a motion to adopt a resolution to apply for the Transportation Alternative Program grant.
Second.
Okay, motion by Paul and seconded by George. George?
Yeah, could Brian give us a little insight here on all this?
Yeah. Certainly. When we talked about the AID grant for the road diet for Broadway several months ago now, we talked about also applying for pairing grants, which this is one of them. We're also applying for an HSIP grant, which is a Highway Safety Improvement Program. That one doesn't need council resolution, this one does. So if we pair this with the AID grant, it'll give us more money to fully fund that project. This would be applied for along with the HSIP, and then we would apply for the AID, the Initiative Development Grant, because that one has a year from the date you get it till the date you have to use it. So that one has the strongest timeline on it. So we have to get these in order before we apply for that one. Hopefully that makes sense?
Michelle?
Michelle?
Can you explain to me what maintain the project for its anticipated lifetime means?
Just means we'll keep the striping and stuff like that.
For how long?
Well, the way I read that is the street's lifetime,
Right, so let's say a repaving lasts, what, 10, 15 years?
probably 15 years.
So then we are promising by applying for this grant or accepting the grant that we will not modify the striping on the road for 15 years, essentially.
Essentially,
Is that set in stone? Absolutely not, because if we find out it's dangerous or something like that, not that I'm thinking it will be.
No, I
but, you know,
understand.
we can't, they're not gonna hold us to something like that.
And
But
this
that
is,
is the intention.
both of these resolutions are for the Broadway project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they required the two resolutions, one for the maintenance and one for the accepting of the award.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions or comments? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Was it two aye, two
Against.
noes? Okay. Motion carries 5-2.
And item 7.1 is council concerns.
And we'll start with Michelle.
I have no concerns.
No
I'm
concerns.
concernless.
Good way to start the year.
Yes.
All right, Jerry, do you have any concerns?
Negative.
Al, do you have any concerns?
Nope.
Pam, do you have any concerns?
Oh, I just have I missed your recounting of the terrible fire. This weekend, Dr. Bob Armstrong, who's a member of the arts community, a puppeteer, lost his house and his possessions in a big fire. Firefighters were on scene right away and did a wonderful job. And however, he has lost a lot of what he needs to go ahead in life. And there's going to be a benefit for Bob Armstrong this Friday at 5 p.m. at Ed's Bar on 3rd Street. That's just the first, I presume, of many, but check the Facebook page there for more information. He really really needs some funding to get going.
There is a GoFundMe page too to help him, I
Right.
understand.
There is. And when I checked, that was doing very well. The community was really getting behind him.
Paul?
Just wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year.
George?
I agree with that as well. Just my wish list for the new year as we go forth. Of course, that the Vikings advance in the playoffs, and it won't take that long. So, I hope that the county can find a way to perhaps share maybe some of that 0.5% sales tax for the roads, which is a very healthy balance right now, and the city of Winona, its retail stores have, through all the sales, produced probably 3/4 of that revenue. So hopefully they could share something with us, Brian, and I know that'd be an area you'd be looking into. So also, that the road out in front of the hospital, Highway 43, Mankato Avenue, that can be repaved this year, not in 2024, 2021. Hopefully it can be done before that, and cement. And also that the train crossing on Mankato Avenue, I know we have lights coming, but we can get something there to alleviate that problem and continue to look at finding ways to alleviate that problem. So with that, Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you.
And under the consent agenda, there are 3 items. Approval of the minutes from December 18th, the final adoption of an ordinance to amend for the tourist homes, as well as the summary ordinance, and an ordinance for stop sign at Laird and Wabasha.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mayor, I move we adjourn the first meeting of 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
I was about to text you back and say, don't hurry yourself too much.